It now being after 7 p.m., I'd like to call this meeting of the Orleans Zoning Board of Appeal to order. My name is William McCarthy. I'm the Vice Chairman, and for tonight's meeting, the acting Chairman in Chairman Marnick's absence. With me tonight are regular members Beth McCartney and Matt Cole, and alternate members Jerry Mulligan and Bruce Taub. We have one matter on the agenda for tonight. It is a matter that originally scheduled for April 4th and had to be continued to this evening's meeting. It is case number 2081, in the case of Paul and Melissa Van Steensel, who've applied for a special permit as set forth in Mass General Laws, Chapter 40A, Section 9, under Orleans Zoning Bylaw, Section 164-21A, Note 5, to construct a barn resulting in building coverage which exceeds 4,000 square feet. The property is located at 131 Aries Lane, Orleans Map 63, Parcel 21. May I first ask if any of my colleagues have had any contact with the applicant or any of its agents? Hearing none, I deem this board is neutral on this matter. And with that, I will open up to Mr. Little, or your client, to, would you mind if we take a procedural?
Would it be possible for we to have a map of the area you use? There you go. Thank you. You're very welcome.
Okay. Mr. Little, the floor is yours.
Thank you, David Little from Ryder and Wilcox, and I'm here with Paul Van Steensel, who is the owner of the property, and Paul is also owns Cape Dreams Building, and so he's building his own house as well. So if I can't answer any questions, he obviously will be very well able to do so. So the reason for us being here today is...
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman. Could we ask that any discussions outside the presentation take place outside the room?
That's a very reasonable point. I know you folks had requested a copy of the plan, but if you need to discuss it, could we ask that you have to take that out outside the boardroom so that this is recorded and so that everything gets heard clearly. I can assure you that after the presentation, everyone in the audience will have an opportunity to speak. So
I just really just wanted something that we could look at.
I know, I think one of the board members couldn't quite
Oh,
hear.
I'm sorry.
No problem, no problem.
Thank you.
Okay.
So we are here for a special permit this evening because of 164-21A Note 5.
Correct.
And what that states is the building coverage in a residential district shall not exceed 15% of the buildable upland. However, building coverage in a residential district shall not exceed 4,000 square feet without the issuance of a special permit under the provisions of 164-44. And in no event shall the Board of Appeals be authorized to grant a special permit which would result in building coverage which exceeds 15% of the buildable upland. So as you and I are certainly aware, this is a trigger that whenever building coverage exceeds 4,000 square feet, we're required to come before the board for the board to review the project to see that it meets with the special permit criteria. What Paul is doing, he is constructing an accessory garage with, a garage with a one-bedroom accessory apartment above it. The one-bedroom accessory apartment is allowed by right under 164-40 uncommon housing, provided that a lot contains 40,000 square feet of buildable upland, and the building area involved does not increase the lot coverage by more than 2%, you can, by right, you are allowed to construct a one-bedroom accessory apartment. And the apartment in this case is 796 square feet. 800 square feet is allowed. The, below that is the garage. So what is triggering our coming here is that the current dwelling is 3,452 square feet. The pool house is 224 square feet, so we presently have a building coverage of 3,676 square feet. The addition of the barn/garage of 907 square feet brings us to 4,583. So we have triggered the 4,000 square foot threshold, and we're here for a special permit. I provided you with a site plan showing the location of the proposed garage. It's oriented, as well as the dwelling and the other structures on the site, so that all structures conform with horizontal dimensional requirements and height requirements of the bylaw. There is no relief needed for anything other than this trigger. And I also provided you with plans, what you would see if you were driving down the street and you look back into Paul's lot. This is the elevation you would see from the street, the front of the garage.
From Aries?
From Aries Lane, that's correct. And it's set back, I would guess, over 200 feet from Aries Lane. And it's set back approximately 30 feet from the abutter to the north. So, that being said, I would like to address the special permit criteria. As to the adequacy of the site, the 1.67 acre site is adequate for the construction. The resulting building coverage of 4,583 square feet is 6.3% of the total lot area. So we are well below the 15% threshold. We believe 131 Aries Lane is suitable for the addition of the garage. The structures on the property, as I mentioned before, will conform to all horizontal and vertical dimensional requirements of the bylaw. The additional impact on traffic flow and safety will be negligible. The project will have no negative impact on neighborhood visual character. The house and the barn are both located well off Aries Lane, and there is actually a big hill between Aries Lane and this house. So unless you pull into the driveway, you really don't even see the house. You would really only see the proposed garage. The site is going to be served by a new Title V sewage disposal system and town water. All stormwater runoff will be contained on the site as required by the zoning bylaw. The adequacy of utilities and public services will not be impacted by the project. There would be no noise or litter other than temporary noise impacts generated during construction from a construction project, and a dumpster will remain on site to contain all construction debris. And as to the impact of groundwater quality, recharge volume, and water quality of coastal and freshwater bodies, we believe these valuable natural resources will not be impacted by the addition of the barn. So the underlying reason for the construction of this, Paul's mother passed away a year ago, and this accessory apartment is going to be for his father. That would be my presentation. Thank you.
Just to clarify one note, we're looking at the locus there. We're also, perhaps not for zoning purposes, but we're talking about a proposed six-bedroom dwelling to be built.
Already built.
The six-bedroom dwelling exists.
Oh, okay.
So if anybody had the opportunity to go to the site, the house is there. The lot contains 72,958 square feet, and you are allowed in Orleans to have one bedroom per 10,000 square feet. So we are complying with the regulations of 7 total bedrooms on this property.
Okay, so just for the record, to note that the revision date, the last revision date of your plan is for the barn only, but
That's correct.
The proposed six-bedroom was prior to the,
It was just, we simply revised the plan. Yes, that's correct. The pool house, the dwelling is there, and the pool is under construction as we speak.
thank you. Beth, any questions?
Yes,
Thank you. And I thought there was town water.
There is.
there is.
Well, point.
We are proposing a town water connection, but we're also proposing a well.
Reason being,
I prefer well.
for well water.
Put well water in the house, but the garage is gonna have town water.
Repeat that.
The applicant said he wished to have
I said.
well water.
The house has well water, and the garage is gonna have town water.
Some people actually, the town chlorinates its water, to get rid of bacteria, and also adds other things, and so some people actually prefer well water. And
Use power.
But that,
Like the people in Eastham who have orange hair.
not to mention a president. But just for the clarity, the barn will be served by town water by the W as shown on there. Okay.
That's correct.
Okay. Beth, any other questions? Jerry?
No.
No questions? Matt?
no questions.
Barry?
So my
Bruce,
predicate
go ahead.
question is about special permit versus variance. And if I'm understanding this finally, special permit requires a pre-existing nonconformity. If that's incorrect, I'd like to be straightened out so I can get properly oriented here.
Well,
I-
if I may,
Sure.
Mr. Chairman?
Sure.
So this is actually under section 9 and not section 6. This is
You
not.
earlier referenced
This,
5, did you not?
section 6 refers to the
Pre-existing nonconformities.
existing non-conforming. This happens to be a zoning bylaw that
Has the
states-
specific reference
that
to
has a
needing
specific-
the
yes,
permit.
needing the permit.
For this
because-
reason, not because there's a pre-existing non-conforming, but because it's outside the bounds of the zoning law on the 4,000 feet.
Exactly.
Okay, okay. And when you say barn, is there a garage there that's
It's-
being
I-
converted to a barn? Is
I
that-
probably should have called it a garage to begin with. I don't know how it got the term barn, but technically it's a garage with an accessory apartment above it.
And the garage currently exists?
No.
No,
Okay, okay.
no. And
And
the,
that's what drives us over the 4,000 square
exactly.
feet?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yep.
okay, thank you. No, I have no further questions.
So it's the footnote at the top of the page in case you want to. I omitted to acknowledge at the outset of the hearing that with us also is Board Secretary Sandy Stewart and our Building Commissioner, Tom. So thank you my apologies for the belated introductions. Does it make any difference for purposes of findings and decision first, but ultimately the permit, whether this is characterized as a barn versus a garage? Is there any difference in occupancy, cars versus animals? It doesn't,
Both accepted uses.
okay. It's more the nature of the structure in this case and its applicability to the bylaw. I don't believe I have any. I think all of my questions have been addressed. How about if we open it up to questions or, may I ask, I'll phrase it this way. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak in support of this application? Okay, hearing none. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak in opposition? Hearing none. Since we have members of the community who come here. Would anyone like to, does anyone have any comments that they would like to present? Yes, ma'am.
I don't have concerns per se with the lovely spot and too it's something that some of us have discussed is the idea of additional traffic on areas. It can't really be avoided, I understand that. But it does become a concern because of what happens to the condition of the road, speed. It's very common that our neighbors on areas don't care that it's 15 miles an hour. I was glad to hear that the issue of trash wouldn't be a problem. I assume this is a year-round domicile, not a rental property at any level.
Like I said, my mom died a year ago,
Yes, I'm
so
sorry.
this is for my dad. So this is a year
Is
round.
correct. No, I was talking
Right.
about the whole property. Yeah, no, I wasn't
This
talking
is,
about.
this is my own personal house,
Okay.
for my wife and my two young
Yes.
sons.
All
Could
right.
could I ask another favor? Could I ask that comments be directed to the board?
Sure.
Not that there be an interchange between the petitioner and people making comments. Thank you.
Anyway, Aries Lane, Mayflower Point has become very habitated, and traffic is a problem. This doesn't strike me as a big family, so I'm not picturing lots of vehicles coming and going. But it does become a problem just generally.
Just like
Anyway,
Just one bedroom. You know, if I may, you know, the context here is just a one-bedroom,
well, I apologize.
no,
I
you're,
apologize, I took up time and I didn't.
no, please, don't, apology not required, but I just wanted to clarify for your comment about traffic. I know a number of us live on streets that share that problem, and I know Aries is a particularly difficult road when people speed. But I think the board will take into its account its findings, whether traffic is indeed an impact, but
I take back,
for a one-bedroom, probably my
I
own,
take back my comments at this time because they were inappropriate.
no, they're not inappropriate, ma'am. I'm glad you made them. Thank you.
No problem with the garage.
Okay. In that case, I think I will propose that we close the, unless, did you have any?
No. I thought you were going to say, in that case, I'm going to close the comments and call the question. So I was
Well, I was-
anticipating where you were going. I apologize.
I think we need to close the public hearing first.
And then have our little, yes,
So a motion to do that?
so moved.
Seconded?
Second.
Second, okay. So moved in second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, opposed? Okay. On the question,
I think it's pretty straightforward myself,
okay,
and I have no problems voting in favor of it.
okay. That as well? Okay.
I'd like to move approval.
Move forward. Beth? All set? Mr. Mulligan has made a motion for approval of the findings with, approval of the special permit with findings to be considered based on the discussion we've had as a board, and they'll be reflected in the written decision in this case. Is there a second?
So moved, so
Second by
seconded.
Mr. Taub. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Unanimous? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck. Good luck.
So I want to know, Mr. Building Commissioner, if you
David.
had any like scuttlebutt about the final zoning board hearing in Brewster. around
Is there anything
the
about
gas station.
Klein's state of mind that, did we hold him up, or was there something he just didn't seem like? we were-
Okay, fine. Sorry. No. I have the answer to my question.
Sure, sure.
See you around.
Okay. Yeah, we got picked up on it both, talking to them and here, but if that's all it was, okay. Great. Good to see you.
So Tom, all of those ADU approvals require 12-month rentals. Has anybody doped out how that, so I guess it calls for an annual affidavit, right? So that puts the onus on the applicant. I got it.
So I guess we know that some members of the community have nothing better to do than to show up, even if they're not.
That's when it would flesh out, right?
But I get picked up on it, definitely. Hostility and
Bill Burns, is a guy who was well water as opposed to town water. He's a
we have a,
eccentric guy.
oh, do we need minutes?
I forgot.
You just left.
I forgot.
No, that's David. He's the architect.
I knew I wasn't gonna be allowed to
Yeah,
be
the
out of
house
the
was the
halfway
other
house for long.
With the beard.
Minutes?
Minutes, okay.
Move that approval.
Moved,
Second.
second, all those in favor?
Yeah.
Aye. So approved. Motion, yeah, do we have any other business?
No.
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
Nicely done.
This is.
all those in favor?
Go Celtics.
Aye.